Look, I'm gonna bring my mask down because I just want y'all to see my face so you know who I am, just in case you see me again. But at the same time, too, I don't want to scare you, so just be prepared that, like it's a case. So I want you to see, this is the moment you've been waiting for. This is what you've been waiting for all your life. Now, before I take my mask off, I'm gonna let you know something. I am married, okay? Got a ring on my finger, okay? I just want to let you know that. But anyway, take my mask down. Bam, there you go. I hope you ain't scared. If you're scared, go ahead. I knew it was going to happen. I felt the same way when I looked in your direction, but I didn't want to say anything. But anyway, how y'all doing? Well, look, my name is James Littlejohn, and once again, yes, I am a husband. My beautiful wife is in the back. She's the lady. You see that light? That's her filming me. That's a good thing. Support. There you go. So I am a father. I am a father of 6 kids. I have 4 biological kids, and then I have 2 bonus kids. When they came in as a bonus, I thought it was something great, but I found out, okay, I'm leave that alone. The parents understand that. But I got 2 bonus kids. So total I have 6 kids altogether. And they age from 23 all the way to 8. So parents, if you were in here tonight, matter of fact, how many parents I have in here tonight? Raise your hand. We got some parents in here tonight. Okay. Well, guess what? If you need to practice at any age group, just contact me and I'll let you borrow 1 or 2 or 3. You can take the whole tribe, okay? You'll probably send them back, but I'm going to make sure I move before they come back, okay? But I love my kids, and I love the fact that the parents are here. So I'm kind of pick on the parents a little bit, just a little bit. So the kids, I'm going to give y'all something that's going to help y'all out too, because I'm going to pick on the parents a little bit. Is that okay? Why y'all so quiet? Because I can switch it and pick on y'all, and then the parents will be happy and be like, yes, I like him. But anyway, okay, we're going to talk anyway. So one of the things that I want to let you know also too, that I am a football coach. I've been coaching football since 2002, and I also now coach women's tackle football. Have you ever with a team called the Carolina Phoenix? Have y'all ever heard of them? Y'all didn't know women play tackle football? Women play tackle football, y'all. They really do. And I have the opportunity to coach wonderful women that go out on the football field and play football, and I'm an advocate for women's sports. So you can see that on my shirt here, Carolina Phoenix. But just to get started with you, I just want to talk to you about effective communication in the family. How many of y'all know about communication in the family? How many of y'all feel like you have good communication in your family? Raise your hand. Yeah, good communication in your family. Gosh, boy, everybody raise their hand. So it's all right. It's all right. But how many of you know that each family has different levels and different styles of communication? How many of y'all know that? All right, so one of the things that I want to focus on is actually going to be 4 things I want to talk to you about tonight. But one of the most important things I want to talk to you about is how to communicate. Communication is important. When it comes to talking and communicating with your family, each family has different ways how they communicate. When I was growing up, I'm the baby of 7. I'm the baby of 7. So in my household, if you was to walk up to the house anytime that my family, all my siblings were together, it'd sound like somebody was in there having an altercation, there was a fight or something going on. But we're just having a conversation because everybody's talking loud, having a good time. And to be heard in your family, in my family, you had to be able to talk loud. You had to be able to be heard. How many of y'all, when every day, you had this thing where you just want to be heard? Raise your hand. You just want to be heard. You want your family to hear you. When you're telling you how you feel and the things that you're going through, you just want to be heard. Now, if you didn't raise your hand, I know you're telling the story now. Okay, I understand. I used to be in school. I used to be in high school, and I used to be afraid to raise my hand in front of my peers, too. But guess what? It's going to come a day, it ain't going to matter. Half the people you trying to be cool for right now, I guarantee you won't even know who they are in school when you get out of school anymore. You'll probably see them and be like, gosh, is that you, Lisa? Yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway, the big thing about the communication is that it's very important in every aspect, in every family. But there's different levels of communication that we run into. So you got families where, the family that I was in, we had what we call tough love. So when you communicated, they showed their love and their affection by we didn't get hugs, I didn't get, nobody was, we got the dap, the brother tell you, you did a good job. And even my sisters didn't hug me. They called, if I started crying, they was the one that called me a wuss the most. And it was the girls, But one of the things that I learned is that they learned that their behavior because they learned it from my mom, because my mom was a yeller. How many of y'all got parents that yell all the time? Just everything, yell about everything. Just be yelling for nothing. One time I was in a room, I'm about to tell my age real quick. I was in a room playing the Sega Genesis show. Some of y'all don't know what the Sega Genesis is, but y'all missed out on that right there. Okay? But I was in the room playing my Sega Genesis. My mom started yelling, James! James! And I come running into the living room, and I'm like, yes, ma'am, what's going on? What's wrong? I'm thinking something's wrong. And my mom leaned up and said, hand me that ashtray over there, baby. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, all my mom had to do was lift up over like this and grab the ashtray. But she called me in the room, so I said, you know what? I ain't gonna do that to my kids when I get older. Now, how many of y'all go in your room and be talking up under your breath when your parents make you mad? Tell the truth. You be in the room like, man, I ain't gonna do that. I can't stand it. I can't wait till I grow up. Make me sick. What you say, man? Yeah, I ain't wait till I get older, man. When I get older, I kept telling myself, when I get older, I ain't yelling at my kids. I ain't treating my kids all types of ways. I ain't gonna yell at them. I'm never gonna yell at my kids. I'm not gonna treat them the way my mama treat me. But guess what, y'all? I yell at my kids. I do exactly what my mom did because guess what? It was a learned behavior that I learned from her. That's all I knew. And that was my way of communicating until I got with my wife. And one day my wife said, what are you yelling for? And I was like, I don't know. So I had to stop yelling at my kids. You know how hard that was, trying to not yell at them when they were doing something? Then I started yelling at them to call them. I took advantage of what my mom used to do, y'all. I would sit in the room and call my son just to come turn on the TV. Joshua! Yeah, Dad, come run down the hall. Hey, man, grab that remote right there and turn the TV on for me, son. I had to do it, y'all. Hey, you'll do it. Some of you going to do it when you get older, too. So definitely. I learned that all that is just form of communication. And I was taught that through my parents. Now, when I went to college, I had a friend that I went home with. And I went home with a friend of mine from college. And he lived in Baltimore, Maryland. And it was my first time being in Baltimore. And, we walk into the house. And the first thing that happens when we walk in the door, his 16-year-old sister comes running down the hall and jumped in his arms and started kissing him all on the face. And I was like, what is this? Now, how many of y'all got a relationship like that with your brother and sister? See? So y'all know how I felt when that happened. I was like, this is weird. Here they go. So the mom comes up to give me a hug, and I jumped back because I thought she was about to hit me because, only time my mom came close was when she hit me. So, I had to back up, so I gave her, she came in and gave me a hug, but it was a different form of communication. And they communicated to each other about how they felt about each other, by hugging and kissing one another. And it was weird to me, but I realized then that it was a different way to communicate within the family. So that was always a good thing that I learned. So I take that with me now, that even though my family wasn't that type of family that would hug and do all those things, doesn't mean that anything was wrong with it. It was just a different way of communication, how we communicated our love into each other within the family. The next thing I want to talk to you about tonight is the parents. Now, parents, forgive me on this. Y'all can get me when we leave, but just let me know when you're going to get me so I can leave and get out before you get out. But the kids might like it so much they might help me out. So here we go. Parents. Parents, we are doing things that we are not aware of that's causing a disconnect with our child or our children. And I know some of you might not be sitting there asking the question, and even kids might sit there and wonder, what are you talking about? Because I only talk about for myself. I have a son, his name is Joshua. He's 13 years old. He'll be 14 in December the 14th. And one of the things about that with Joshua is that I'll come home from work and I'll go in the room with Joshua and I'll be like, hey, Josh, how was your day? He was like, it was good. And I'll be like, well, how was school? It was okay. And I'll be like, all right, so I'm trying to have a conversation with him, but he's not talking with me. So then I go into the living room and I get started doing what I need to do. Some of the parents, they get off of work, they go home and they go to work again. Start working on their dreams, their aspirations, things they want to do. So I'm sitting there, my son comes and asks me a question, and before he can finish, I'm like, hey man, I'm doing something right now. What happened right there? Anybody tell me what happened right there when he walked in and I sat there and said, hey, I'm doing something right now? Yes, sir. Say it again. He wanted to talk to me. So at that moment, when I threw my hand up and told him I was doing something, I caused a little disconnect there. Because even though, I'm a parent, I came home, and as parents, we have all the excuses in the world to come home and say, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I just want to go home, sit down. I don't want to be bothering nobody. But we got to realize that when we do things, we're yelling, we're nagging. How many of y'all got parents, soon they come in the door, they start yelling and screaming because something wasn't done? Well, if you would have did it, they wouldn't have been yelling. But anyway, but they come home, they're nagging, they're yelling, they're fussing, and all they realize that all this time, that form of communication is causing the kids, causing a disconnect. To the point where sometimes the kids get scared to come to you and talk to you because of the fact that we're too busy. Because of the fact that we're pushing them away. Now let me ask you this. How many of you ever experienced hurt before? Someone saying something? Or how many of you ever felt disconnected from something or from a family? All right? So disconnect, that hurt is just like a real hurt. So anytime your child comes into or you come into in that room to talk to the parent and you dismiss the child, you causing a disconnect. And not only causing a disconnect, but at the same time, you causing hurt. You causing pain that we may not feel. So as a parent, I had to learn that when my son came into the living room and wanted to talk to me, I would sit there and say, even though I was tired, I had to communicate with him, right? Because we had to make sure that we're communicating properly. So I say, look, son, you know what? I'm really excited that you got something you want to tell me. But look, Dad is tired. I just got home. I'm going to sit down here for a few minutes. We're going to have dinner. And at dinner, I want you to sit down and tell me about what you want to talk about. But just give me a few minutes. I really want to hear what you got to say. But when I grew up in a household, we didn't have that. But that's a way that you can talk to your kids and still keeping that line of communication open, where that you can continue keeping that connection. Because as you know, anytime there's a disconnect, people always